everyone, I'm Deanne from Newfoundland, Canada, and this is my Flosstube channel, Stitching on the Rock. It's episode 31, and it's February 28th. Yay! I made it to before the end of the month. I apologize to all my subscribers and viewers for being MIA for the last couple of weeks, but it's been interesting. Just gonna lay my sign down. Ignore the hair. This is my second attempt at the video, but I had to run some errands in between and I had a hat on, so it's kind of made my hair. Yeah, like a 10-second overview of life in the last 2.5-3 weeks. Anyone who's watched my video before heard about my condo corporation's insurance craziness. Still no resolution on that. My ceiling in my bedroom leaked one day for no reason that I can tell, and hasn't leaked since. And of course we're in the middle of winter, so no one can get up on the roof and figure out what the problem is. But fingers crossed, it was only one evening. What else? We had 2 snowstorms, about 40 centimeters in one and 20 centimeters in the other, and school was closed for 2 days during the first one and 1 day during the second one. Aaron's still having some issues in school. I've talked about those before, and I'm not going to get into it because it upsets me. But we're still struggling on trying to get him straightened out for that. What else? Oh, he's homesick. He was sick yesterday, and he went this morning. He lasted about a half hour, and he's home again. He's actually in the basement with my sister now, doing some math and science homework, something she's good at and I'm not. Yeah, I guess is that enough of a reason why I haven't done a video? And in between all of that, I kind of lost my stitching mojo for a week or so. I have a project to blame it on, but I'll show you that in a little bit. What else can I talk to you about before I get into stitching? If you're really interested, I've kind of fallen behind in my floss tube, although I did catch up with that Kirsten in 23 Flavors of Stitching, and I've caught up with Megan and Stitching Moon. I'll link both of them below. Kathleen in Situation Normal posted up a whip parade, which I haven't watched yet. I'm sorry, but I will get. It's on my list. And I also watched a bit of Alicia with Adventures in Stitching. I'll link all of them below if you're interested in following one of them, or if you do, you know that I do too. Yeah, I have about 100 videos, or 98 videos to watch later. I'm going to get to them this week. Oh, and one of my subscribers, I'm sorry, I didn't write it down. I know who it is, but I can't think of it right now. Asked about some more Newfoundland stuff. So I got 3 facts for you. I don't know if I told them in the beginning, way back last year when I started. But for those of you who don't know Newfoundland, you might be interested in some of this stuff. And for those of you who do, you can just fast forward through this part if you want to. Most people pronounce Newfoundland wrong. They say Newfoundland or Newfoundland, or however they mispronounce it. You might not tell a difference, but they kind of take the found and put fin, which I don't know why. And it's all one word. I've seen lots of people do new and then the found land as a separate word, or Newfound and the land as a separate word. I don't know why. We here, not that I'm an expert, but as a resident, accept 2 pronunciations. You can pronounce it out the 3 words separately. New found land, which, you know, you're not from here. If you pronounce it as it's spelled, new found land, we'll be happy. Those of us who live here usually run it all together, and the found sort of becomes fun, and we kind of don't emphasize the land part. So it's Newfoundland. I hope you can tell the difference. I can. Yeah, so that's one thing I found. Also, I know that almost everybody knows about Gander after 9/11, but did you know that the Gander Gander Airport. Oh my God, I cannot talk. The Gander Airport was one of the busiest in the world in the 50s and 60s because back then airplanes couldn't make the trip across the Atlantic without refueling. And if you're going New York to London or New York to Paris, Gander is right on the line that you would pass over, and so it became the refueling stop for cross-Atlantic trips. And something else that people, at least not in Canada, and maybe not even some people in Canada might not know, that Newfoundland has its own time zone. We are not part of the Atlantic time zone. We are a half an hour earlier, and it's the only half-hour time zone in the world, which I thought was pretty cool. Okay, that's enough of 5 minutes or 6 minutes. That's enough of stuff you may or may not be interested in. So let's get into stitching. So whip goal for February was 7 and 13. No, sorry, 7 and 11. I can't even read my own numbers. And 11 was a new start. And I decided to start Short Signs of Spring from Darlene Dion Design. And in the 3 days that I allot for my whip goals, I finished it. So here we are. It's kind of hard to see the spring. Oh, speaking of spring, it's spring training. And that's all I'll tell you about my baseball obsession and my Blue Jays obsession. But let's try this. The spring is kind of hard to read, but it's the color that was called for. I was all done with called for colors, and I did a French knot for the bunny's eye, which is probably only the second French knot I've done in my life. So I'm very happy about that. And number 7 was Ada from Mirabilia. There she is. And I said in my last video, my Mirabilias are not really calling to me. So I got, I think it was, I wrote down how many stitches. Let me just grab my little notebook here. I got 482 stitches. So for something that's not calling to me, I thought that was pretty good. And it's done 2/2 on a 28 count opalescent from Silk Weavers, but I don't know the name of it. So here's everything. And what I did this time is all of her wing down to her arm is fully completed on that side. And I finished off that little tealy turquoise, tealy blue bit up by her head on that side. And I'm still stitching on them. They're all still part of my plans, but I have to admit that I'm not getting a whole lot of progress done on them when I stitch them. Now, upcoming whip go for March is number 2, which is Iris, which is my focus piece, and number 22, which is Jumping Jacks, which is a fall piece, Halloween-y fall piece that I put away, but I don't have enough whips to fill out the whip go without including them. So this is it. It is by Samsara, and I have done so far the fall when I started it 3 of the 5 pumpkins, and it's done 2/2 on a 28 count Monaco that I copied that I dyed with aquamarine, I think it was, or aqua, whatever that color is called, and then coffee tea dyed. And so now that's my whip go. But I'm doing March Madness, so this is going to have to be snuck in here and there, or maybe the last 2 or 3 days when I only have a couple of projects left in my March Madness. And I'll talk about what I got planned for that in a few minutes. So other than that, I stitched on Iris, and of course I'm terrible at taking before pictures, but I got 2013 stitches done on it since my last video. So if you want to see a before picture, you can just scroll through that. And Pattern Keeper is telling me I'm at 80.80%, but I'm probably closer to 82%, because for those of you who didn't watch my last video, I was originally stitching this from paper pattern because I bought it before I knew what PDFs and Pattern Keeper and that was. Then when I got back and decided I wanted, in January, I decided I wanted to finish that this year. I bought the PDF. I had 2 full pages completed on it, so I entered all of those into Pattern Keeper. But once I had those completed, I was working on page 3 and page 4, and I discovered a mistake, and I bought the PDF, blah blah blah. So I started on page 3 with the PDF, and I have everything I have done on page 3 entered, but there's a little bit on page 4 that I did that's not entered. So I'm guessing it might be a percentage. It might not be even that much. But after all that, here we are. Ta-da! I'll just bring you now what I've been working on. And it's going fairly quickly. It's been a focus. I haven't done the 200 a day like I don't know why I ever make plans, because I never follow through with them. But it's this month would go, and it's also a piece on my March Madness, and I'm hoping that people will vote for it and it will go through, so I'll get lots of work done on it. So that is that piece. Oh, for those of you, my first project bag that I made myself, well, with my sister's help, but I have 2 cut out. I'm ready, so I just, because my mojo has not been there, and it's because of this, which is the Snow Diaries Joyful World February. It's a pair of mallard ducks, and I should have had it done because my son loves ducks and is obsessed with all kinds of things about ducks. But I swear that I frogged as much as I stitched. I don't know why. I just could. The pattern, it's not a very sharp pattern. Like they're free patterns if you want to find them. There's one for each month. January is still up down in my living room. And they're just, they're all animals. Each month is an animal. And they're free, so you can just search Snowflake Diaries, A Joyful World, and they'll bring them all up. But I've been stitching on them from a picture. And it's just, I don't know. I'll post up the picture of what this is supposed to look like, but it's really, really difficult to follow. Or at least I think it is. March will not get done, unfortunately, because I'm doing March Madness, but I'll keep going, and somewhere along the line I'll find time, but I can't remember what March is. But I've been using fabric from my stash. I used to do the monthly fabric club from Silk Weavers 15 years ago, and there's a whole bunch in my stash that I haven't used. So this piece, it's upside down. I'm going to do that a lot today. I'll warn you ahead of time, showing you upside down. So this piece was originally this piece of fabric. And I took the gray and tan grit dye to it and made it grungier, because in the pictures they're all done on like a grungy fabric, and I really like them. March had a lot of blue in the fabric, and I can't remember what the picture is now, but I had this in my stash. This is what's left, and it's now this. The blue, you can kind of see the blue right there. So same thing, gray and tan. Made it grungier, but I'll get to March. If I don't get it this March, I'll get it to next March or February, so it'll be ready for March. This February, it'll be ready for next February. So up next, well, I'm just pulling them out because they're not in any order of how I stitched them. I worked on a little bit on my New Year, New Start, and I have to get back and do more of this because I really love it. It's for Signs of Spring by Cottage Garden Sampling. Mr. Robin on his basket. And this one as well, I think this was wheat fabric. That's what the name of it was. Everything I've shown you so far, and I knew I was going to forget it, has been done 2/2 on 28 count. Yeah, everything has been done 2/2 on 28 count. This is 1/2 on 36 count. And I don't know that you're going to see a whole lot of it. I'm a little disappointed in the background with stitching. You can see here on the pattern, it's like a blue-gray thread, and it's called Lexington Green. And I have the same thread, but mine is much more beige. Now, I know their fabric is lighter. Their fabric is Ancient by Picture This Plus, and mine is Weigart Wheat, but I would have had to wait 5 or 6 months to get that fabric in. But it shouldn't have, the threads should be the same color. But if you can see it, which I'm not 100% sure you can, it's much beiger. Beige green, whereas theirs looks like a bluey gray color. But anyway, Mr. Robin has a head and a little bit of his breast done. I'm really enjoying stitching on 36 count. I just started another one, which I'll show you in a minute, on 36, and I'm really liking stitching on it. Didn't think that I'd be able to see it that well, but it's going pretty good. Next up is Pride and Prejudice. My pattern is just thrown into the, my picture is just thrown into the bag, so it's kind of wrinkly. But it's by Amy Stewart for Heaven and Earth Designs, and it's part of the Heroes and Heroines bookshelf. And I actually started the second one. I started 2 new things since I saw you last. So I got 160 stitches in, which wasn't a whole lot. And I'm at 5.88%, and I'm going to screw up my Shall I Tell You? I know I am, because I did, when I did first attempted video, I think I showed everything the wrong way the first try, and then I moved it, and then discovered that I had actually shown it the right way. So let me see, if I look at it, that's right. So if I just flip, it should be right for you guys, right? I'm doing it diagonally, 1/2 on 28 count. I don't know, let me see if I can get it all in. What does it look like? Oh, there it is. So top left to bottom right. So hopefully that's the way I'm showing it to you. If I can hold it right. Ugh, sorry. It's just not cooperating. It's just too much fabric. So I'm almost down to the very bottom of the diagonal. I just have this little bit to finish filling in, and I'll be at the bottom of the diagonal. And this is Darcy, if you can see right here, his arm. This is Elizabeth, and there's books up here. And then when you get down here, there's like a bundle of letters, and then that's the whole diagonal. Yay! Hopefully I hopefully I held it up for you guys right. And let's see. Oh, last width that I did a bit on is picture. I have the whole pattern on this one. It's Hometown Hero Baseball by Donna Gelsinger for Heaven and Earth Designs. And I put in 115 stitches yesterday, and gives me 2.39%, which is not a whole lot. So this is right, this is the top left corner. I'm going diagonal, and this is done 2/2 on 28 count sapphire blue. Pride and Prejudice is ice blue. It's 1/2 28 count ice blue, and this one is 1/2 28 count sapphire blue. And if I get a chance to stitch today, I'm going to stitch on baseball. I probably won't. This is my son's dad's birthday. We're not together. We're separated. We've been separated since Aaron was a baby. But we do a lot of things together, the three of us. So he's coming for supper today so he can spend his birthday supper with Aaron. We're having takeout. Aaron's having McDonald's and he and I are having Chinese food. I'm paying for his birthday. And anyway, that's what's going on today. So I don't know if I'm going to get stitched. So yesterday and the day before, I started 2 new projects to get ready for March Madness. 2 things that I had planned to do. And they're also in my whip go, so I wanted to get them done before they were called. First up is another Heroes and Heroines shelf picture, Anna Green Gables. Anna Green Gables and Pride and Prejudice are my 2 favorite books. So I have 0.05% done, which is 56 stitches. And it's done 1/1 on an apricot even weave. And ignore this thread. I always, when I measure out my border, I always stick a thread there to say this is where I start, so that once I got the measurement done out, and I'm like, okay, where do I start? So that's just a marker. And so 50, yeah. I had to make sure I wasn't showing you the back. No, 56 stitches. There you go. But it started now, and when it comes around to my whip go and my March Madness, I'll have it started. This was my other start, which is the Little Things sampler by Stitching Through the Years. This was a win that I made on Mouse Potato Designs Flosstube, and I'll link her below. So I'm really excited to get started on this. I'm doing it 1/2 on 36 count light mocha, and I'm kind of converting the colors to what I have in my stash as much as I can, or I'm making my executive decisions on what I'm using, so it won't be the same colors as what she used, but it will be very similar. I want to make sure I show it to you guys right. Yeah, so this is top left corner. So that's what I have done. Like I said, the picture is kind of hard to see, but it's right here. That kind of jut out, and the little flower in it is that. And I love it. Like I said, I converted colors just to what I had in my stash, and I'm hoping I can get away with that for most of it. And like I said, the colors won't be exactly the same as what she has, but they'll be similar. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what I've stitched on since I saw you last. I made a couple of purchases, one minor and one thread. Brennan Needle, Cheryl and Patty, who I gave away one of their threads in my Flosstiversary video. I did hear from one of the ladies that received her prize, but I didn't hear from the other 2. So if you're watching and you did receive it, please let me know. Anyway, they have now started in February a floss of the month and a fabric of the month. And I'm doing the floss. You can do 3 threads or 5. I'm doing 3. I may do one of the fabrics. The thing about the fabric is you don't know what you're gonna get, and it's kind of like the silk weavers. One that I have a lot of bright colors left, and I don't want to get another bright color. Not that I don't want to get their fabric, but I don't want to get something that I'm going to be stuck with. With fabric, I lean more now towards neutrals. And as you know by their threads, and I've shown you all their threads that I've bought, they're not so much into the neutrals. This is all of the Brennan needle threads I have, and they're right here, right next to me, so that if I am decide to do a pattern that takes floss, like variegated floss, I go to theirs first to see if I can get a color. But anyway, I did get the February thread, and I'll link them below as well, so in case you're interested. It's a club, but you don't sign up for the year. You buy month to month. You just don't know what you're getting. So this is February's. Well, I figured it was going to be Valentine's related because it was February, and they are most definitely Valentine-y. They are this one, which is like a periwinkle blue, and it's got some pinks and that through it, and it's called Me Ducky, which is a kind of Newfoundland term of endearment. And you say, yes, me ducky. And I really like it. And then we have this one, which I'm going to find like a heart pattern and definitely do it. It's pale pink to like a dark pink, and it's called Fate Don't Tip Her Hand Lightly. And then the last one is a weight with bits of pink, but there's actually blue and yellow spots in there too. I don't know. I hope they come up on camera. And this one is called Mar Fulton, and I cannot explain that one to you. Why it's called Mar Fulton? It's MARFALTON. At least I'm assuming it's an A. It looks like it may be a U, so it may be Mar Fulton, but I really like that one too. And the other purchase I made was at the thrift store. I went, sorry, get it out of my little bin here. I went to the thrift store, and I usually look for magazines there. And they had magazines, and I can't remember the name of it. It was not a magazine that I knew. It was a lady's name. I think it was something New Stitching or something like that. And I saw one there that had on the cover a pattern of ducks. And it was like it had different species of ducks and their names and all that. And like I said before, Erin is very interested in ducks. And it said, another one I noticed, it said the name of what I thought was a duck pattern. So when I looked, it was a two-parter. And then when I went through the magazine, the pages were torn out. Like, who donates magazines with the pages torn out? It's just well to recycle it. But anyway, I did not get those. I got this one, which is Just Cross Stitch April 2016. And I got it because it has, if I can find them. Let me look at the page. It's better to find the page, isn't it? 28. It has a little article on Mirabilia, and it has Queen Anne's lace. And even though my Mirabilias aren't calling to me, I can't turn down buying one. And it has, for like $3, the Spring Chalk series from Priscilla and Kathy Haberman. So, well worth the purchase of the magazine. And that, ladies and gentlemen, I think is everything I have to say, except for my plans, which are March Madness. Last year I did Mirabilia March, and I said I'm not really interested in stitching my Mirabilias for a whole month. I don't mind 2 or 3 days, but the whole month is not what I'm interested in right now. Excuse me. So I said I'm going to attempt it, and I found an Excel template. And a lot of people just do 8, but I've got 16 because I'm doing the whole month. And what my plan is to stitch a day on one, a day on two, and then on the third day when I'm stitching on the third one, I'm going to put a poll up for these two to see who moves on my Instagram, which is Deanne_Stitching on the Rock, if you're interested in following and voting. My account's private right now. I had an issue last month with someone taking my my profile picture and my name plus an extra letter. And a lot of my friends had started following this person, and I tried blocking them and getting it deleted. And anyway, it came to the point where I said, I'm going private. If you request to follow me, if you've got a cross-stitch picture in your feed or in your profile or whatever, I'll accept you. I'm only trying to block out people who are not common interests or whatever. And so I'm also trying to do a video every third day so I can show you the progress on the two from this bracket. So I'll do a video here and put my poll up for these two, and then I'll do a video here to show the progress on these two and put my poll up, so on and so on, until I get down to the last of the month. So you're without me for 3 weeks. No, you're going to be sick of me. Anyway, that's the plan. Hopefully it will go. And this video went a whole lot better than last one and my first attempt today. I videotaped the whole video, and when I went to load it up to edit it, it wasn't there. I don't know what happened. Anyway, have a great day. Bye.